You don't have to say everything that comes to your mind just because it showed up. See, most people talk too much because they're trying to convince the world they matter. They fill every silence with noise, every pause with nervous words, every conversation with explanations nobody asked for. But powerful people, they don't rush, they don't scramble for attention, they don't compete to be heard. They understand something most people learn too late. When you speak all the time, your words lose weight. But when you speak with intention, when you choose your moments, when your voice shows up only when it adds value, people stop what they're doing and lean in. You ever notice how the loudest person in the room is rarely the most respected because volume is not authority? Talking is not leadership, and confidence is not measured by how long you can hold the floor. Real confidence is knowing you don't need to prove anything to anyone. It's being secure enough to let others talk, to observe, to listen, to gather information before you respond. Because when you listen more than you speak, you gain power. You learn what people care about, what they fear, what they respect, what they hide. And then, when you finally open your mouth, you don't speak from impulse, you speak from understanding. Some of you are losing respect not because you're weak, not because you're incapable, but because you're too available with your words. You explain your decisions to people who never earned that explanation. You defend yourself against opinions that don't matter. You overshare your plans before they're built, your struggles before they're processed, your dreams before they're protected. And then you wonder why people don't take you seriously. It's because mystery creates gravity. When people don't know everything about you, they pay closer attention to what you choose to reveal. And listen to me carefully. Silence is not emptiness. Silence is control. Silence says, I'm thinking. Silence says, I don't need to react. Silence says, my value doesn't decrease just because I'm not performing for you. Weak energy panics in quiet moments. Strong energy owns them. When someone tries to provoke you, pull you into drama, bait you into an argument, your restraint speaks louder than any comeback ever could. Because anyone can react, anyone can get loud, but not everyone can stay composed when emotions are high. When you speak less, people start assigning importance to your words. They start remembering what you say. They start quoting you when you're not in the room. Why? Because rarity creates value. Nobody lines up for what's always available. But what's scarce, what's measured, what's intentional, that commands attention? Your words should not spill out. They should land. They should feel deliberate, grounded, final, not rushed, not shaky, not apologetic. And here's the deeper truth, saying less forces you to live more. You stop performing and start becoming. You stop talking about discipline and start practicing it. You stop announcing your goals and start building them quietly. And when results finally show up, they speak for you. Success is the loudest voice in any room, and it never has to shout. So the next time you feel the urge to jump into every conversation, to defend every misunderstanding, to explain every move, pause. Breathe. Ask yourself, is this necessary? Is this valuable? Is this aligned with who I'm becoming? Because every unnecessary word leaks energy. Every impulsive reaction gives away control, but every intentional sentence builds presence. You don't gain respect by being heard the most. You gain it by being heard when it matters. Let me tell you something about discipline. Discipline is not sexy. It's not loud. It doesn't trend. Nobody throws a parade for you because you woke up early when you didn't feel like it. Nobody claps because you kept your word on a random Tuesday when you were tired, frustrated, and emotionally drained. But hear me, that right there is where respect is born. Anybody can show up when they're motivated. Anybody can grind when the money is flowing, when the compliments are coming, when the energy is high. But what about the days when you don't feel it? What about the mornings when your body is heavy and your mind is clouded? What about the seasons when nobody is watching, nobody is cheering, nobody even seems to care? That's the test. And discipline says, I'm going anyway. See, mood is temporary. Feelings change every hour, but discipline is a decision. It's a standard. It's a personal code that says, no matter how I feel, I will execute. And when people see that in you, when they see you consistent in chaos, focused in distraction, steady in pressure, they don't just like you, they respect you. Respect doesn't come from talent alone. There are a lot of talented people who are unreliable. They shine one day and disappear the next. They promise big and deliver small, and after a while, people stop believing them. But the person who shows up every single time, the person who does what they said they would do, not sometimes, not when it's convenient, but every time, that person becomes trusted, and trust is the foundation of respect. You don't have to announce your discipline. You don't have to post it, tweet it, or broadcast it. Let your routine speak. Let your consistency tell the story. When your actions match your words long enough, people stop questioning you. They stop doubting you. They start relying on you, and being reliable in a world full of excuses is powerful. Some of you want instant respect, but you're inconsistent. You're disciplined when it's easy and distracted when it's hard. You commit when it benefits you and disappear when it requires sacrifice. That's not discipline, that's convenience. And convenience never commands respect. Discipline is doing the work when it's boring. It's repeating the fundamentals when you'd rather chase something flashy. It's staying focused when distractions are screaming your name. It's controlling your habits instead of letting your habits control you. And the beautiful thing about discipline is this: it builds self-respect first. Before anyone else respects you, you start respecting yourself because you know what you've overcome. You know the battles you've won internally. You know how many times you could have quit, but didn't. And that internal confidence changes your presence. You walk differently when you know you're consistent. You speak differently when you know you follow through. There's a calmness that comes from keeping promises to yourself. You're not trying to impress anybody. You're not seeking validation. You already proved something to the only person that matters you. Listen to me. Discipline is louder than motivation. Motivation fades when the hype dies down. Discipline stays when the lights go off. Motivation waits for inspiration. Discipline creates results, and results demand respect. When people see that you don't fold under pressure, that you don't make excuses, that you don't quit when it gets uncomfortable, they understand something about you without you ever saying it. They understand that you are solid, and in a shaky world, solid people stand out. If you want respect, stop depending on how you feel and start committing to what you said. Because at the end of the day, your consistency will introduce you long before you ever open your mouth. Let me be real with you. People don't cross lines that don't exist. If there's no boundary, there's no barrier. And if there's no barrier, people will step as far as you allow them to step. Not always because they're bad people, not always because they're trying to hurt you, but because human nature tests limits. And when you keep saying yes to things that drain you, tolerating behavior that disrespects you, laughing off what actually bothers you, you're teaching people how to treat you without ever opening your mouth. See, respect and access are connected. Everybody should not have the same level of access to your time, your energy, your attention, or your peace. But some of you hand it out like it's unlimited. You answer every call, respond to every message instantly, show up for everybody else while neglecting yourself, and then wonder why you feel invisible, exhausted, and undervalued. It's because when something is always available, people stop treating it as valuable. Strong people don't build walls to shut the world out. They build boundaries to protect what matters. And here's the key. You don't have to be loud to be firm. You don't need anger to be clear. You don't need drama to be respected. Real power is calm certainty. It's looking someone in the eye and saying, without hostility, "That doesn't work for me." No long explanation. No apology for existing. No negotiation with your peace. Some of you are afraid that if you set boundaries, people will leave. Listen carefully. The people who leave because you stopped overextending yourself were never respecting you in the first place. They were benefiting from your lack of limits. The ones who truly value you will adjust. They will learn your standards. They will meet you where you stand. And let me tell you something else. Every time you tolerate disrespect, you weaken your own voice. Not just externally, but internally. You start doubting yourself. You start shrinking. You start questioning whether your feelings even matter. But the moment you draw a line and honor it, something shifts inside you. Your spine straightens. Your tone changes. Your energy stabilizes, because now you're not just hoping to be respected, you're enforcing it. Boundaries also reveal character. When you say no, when you decline, when you step back, you learn who was there for you and who was there for what you provided. And that clarity is priceless. It saves you time. It saves you energy. It saves you from pouring into people who never intended to pour back into you. Now, don't confuse boundaries with hostility. You don't have to attack people, embarrass people, or dominate people to protect yourself. That's insecurity dressed as strength. True strength is composed, it's measured, it's controlled. It says, "I wish you well, but I won't sacrifice myself to keep you comfortable." That kind of energy doesn't start fights, it ends manipulation. And here's what's powerful. When you respect your own limits, people feel it without you announcing it. They hesitate before wasting your time. They think twice before speaking carelessly. They adjust their behavior because your presence communicates standards. Not arrogance, not ego, standards. You cannot be everything to everyone and still be something to yourself. Every yes to what drains you is a no to what builds you. Every moment spent tolerating nonsense is a moment stolen from your growth, your peace, your purpose. So stop negotiating your worth. Stop explaining why you deserve basic respect. Stop shrinking to avoid discomfort. Discomfort is temporary. Self-betrayal lingers. When you honor your boundaries consistently, people learn that access to you is a privilege, not a guarantee. And once people realize they can't walk over you, they stop trying and start respecting you. Before you ever say a single word, before you shake a hand, before you introduce yourself, people have already formed an opinion about you. That's not fair, but it's real. Your posture speaks, your walk speaks, your eye contact speaks, your energy speaks. And if your body is whispering insecurity, the room will hear it louder than any confident sentence you try to say afterward. Some of you are waiting to feel confident before you carry yourself with confidence, but it doesn't work like that. Confidence is not a feeling you wait for. It's a behavior you practice. It's shoulders back when you want to shrink. It's eye contact when you feel unsure. It's walking with purpose even when your mind is racing. You don't fake arrogance. You demonstrate belief. And the body leads the mind more than you realize. When you stand like you belong, your brain starts to believe you do. You ever notice how two people can walk into the same room and get treated completely differently without saying a word? One drifts in, hesitant, scanning for approval, apologizing with their presence. The other steps in grounded, calm, aware, not trying to dominate, but not trying to disappear either. Same room, same people, different treatment. Why? Because presence communicates value. Carrying yourself like you matter is not about thinking you're better than anyone. It's about understanding you're not less than anyone either. It's quiet equality. It's knowing you have a right to occupy space on this earth without shrinking to make others comfortable. And when you truly accept that, your movements change, you stop fidgeting, you stop looking down, you stop laughing nervously at things that aren't funny just to ease tension. You become still, and stillness when it comes from self-assurance is powerful. But let me go deeper. It's not just physical posture, it's energetic posture. People can feel when you're desperate for approval. They can feel when you're trying too hard to be liked. They can feel when you're unsure of your own worth. And unfortunately, the world often responds to that uncertainty by testing you, overlooking you, or undervaluing you. Not because you deserve it, but because you haven't shown them another way to treat you. When you know who you are, you don't chase attention, attention finds you. When you respect yourself, you don't beg for acknowledgement, your presence commands it. You don't need the loudest voice. You don't need the flashiest clothes. You don't need to dominate conversations. There's a calm authority that comes from self-respect, and it's magnetic. Some of you are playing small because you're afraid of being judged, but hear me, you're being judged anyway. So you might as well be judged for standing tall instead of shrinking. You might as well be seen as confident instead of invisible. Playing small doesn't protect you. It just hides you from opportunities that were meant for you. And here's the truth most people don't talk about. When you carry yourself with grounded confidence, you give other people permission to do the same. Your energy changes the room. Your presence stabilizes chaos. People feel safer around someone who is comfortable in their own skin because it signals strength without aggression. You don't have to announce your worth. You don't have to convince anyone. You don't have to perform. Just move like your life has purpose. Sit like your voice has value. Stand like your existence is not an accident. Because it isn't, walk into every space understanding that you don't need validation to justify your presence. You were not created to apologize for taking up space. You were created to fill it with purpose.